Так, раз, два, три. Приветствую всех на моем канале, кто подошел на стримецкий. Мы играем за Dwarves. И потихоньку смотрим, какой же тут интересный сюжет. Так. Это мой последний сейв. Я надеюсь, что он не вылетит сейчас же. Итак, мы в прошлый раз дворфами дошли до той самой горы, куда надо было дойти, побегали, исследовали там, оказалось, что это храм гнома-убийц, потом мы вернулись назад, а оказывается всех магов нет, короче, такая суета, мягко говоря, тут, но мы избежали той ловушки, которая была нам уготована, и сейчас мы отправляемся в Мордор, можно сказать. Или на что это больше похоже? Ну что ж, посмотрим, что будет ждать теста пути дальше. А я жду от вас ваших комментариев, донатов, лайков и так далее. Все, поехали.
That was fun. What's next?
Boindil looks at you, and the sparkle in his eyes goes out.
We are both very sorry about what happened here, Tungdil.
Аварак, мне нравятся ледяные змеи. Я же Король-Лич.
I convinced myself that
You gulp and turn away from your friends.
Так, а что там такое происходит-то? Привет, Бигзад. Привет, Егор. Кат-сцена, давненько их не было. Субтитры читать не можешь, чувак?
Not a good idea if you want to go on living, dwarf.
You've got quite a big mouth for someone who sounds like a girl.
Что-то какой-то
you
мужебаб.
are Andikai, the tempestuous, right?
Correct. And you're Tungdil, Lot Yonan's charge.
Это те, которые нам помогли, походу, в той засаде. Ну, я бы не сказал, что они нравятся мне или не нравятся. У меня нет к ним отношения. Вот ледяные змеи, это ничего, так, фрусмирмы. Бигзад, а ты будешь слушать, что я говорю? Субтитры озвучиваются, английская озвучка. Если тебе лень почитать, что пишут, ну блин, извини, чувак, я не буду перебиваться голосом. Так, есть ли вести от Иона, не жив ли он?
Honorable Maga, what news of Lot Yonan? Does he live?
Andikai looks at you in silence, pain and rage slowly spreading across her face.
He is dead, Tungdil. Along with Myra, Turga, and Sabora. Nod-on killed them all and destroyed the Council of Magi.
The certainty of their death is painful. It feels as though someone has just
Чё
torn
надо,
your
хозяин?
insides out.
He killed their best pupils too. And now
А
he's
где
the
нигерский чат
unchallenged
слева?
Magus in Girdlegard.
Что-то я, кстати, немного приболел. И многие спросят, куда деньги на лечение скидывать. А я вам скажу, мне на WebMoney 0,00000. Почему ледяные змеи? Они же драконы или тебе нравятся большие, крылья, да?
Да, мне нравятся большие крылья. Да не, ну байк, в данном случае читать смысла нет, нормально и так все. Мне гораздо интереснее слушать английскую озвучку, она приятная весьма. Такой, знаете, дух рассказа идет. Спасибо, Аварак, тебе за донат. Да и чат, кстати, все теперь есть. Так. Ну, это ты напал на Нодона перед входом в чертоги?
It was you, wasn't it, that attacked them with the
Игра
lightning?
платная.
Were you any more successful than we were?
Andikai shakes her head.
He defied everything I threw at him. All of my skills. In vain. I soon realized he was superior to me, but I wanted to buy you some time.
Влад 2. Не понимаю, о чем речь, какой конфликт. Ну, кроме того, что вы его сами создаете сейчас. Никакого конфликта нет. Аларак. А еще игры бесплатные, когда их тебе дают погонять разработчики. Так что это только для элиты. В Steam посмотри, я не знаю, сколько она стоит. Так. Давайте про спутника
Your
знаем.
companion, won't he sit with us and introduce himself?
Yes! Hey, you up there! Can you
Какой
even
он
hear us
борзый,
with
а?
that bucket on your head?
Jerun is mute, and he won't do you
Ah,
any
я так
harm
и
unless
думал.
I command him to. And as long as you treat him with courtesy, dwarf.
Boindale seems to briefly weigh up his chances against the two of them.
I decide when I'm courteous. Just don't get in my way. And the orcs are mine!
Ну, если я про него пошутил, постебался, это не значит, что конфликт. А почему я не имею права про него пошутить? Имею полное право. Как над деградирующим животным, например. Warcraft 2, я его 100 лет не проходил, не знаю даже. Я такое чувство, когда запускаю стрим, я только то и делаю, что отвечаю на тупые вопросы. Варика не будет сегодня. Ты не видишь название? Мы играем в The Dwarves. Не в Варик. И что-то я не вижу, чтобы Варик смотрели так тщательно, судя по последним видосам, которые были выложены. Так. А почему ты можешь колдовать, девка?
Nodon's famula said that he had changed the magical fields, but you still seem to be able to use them.
Andikai smiles.
I'm not quite as benevolent as the other magi. My god Samusin is the god of balance. He loves the darkness as much as the light, which means I can use both. But my powers aren't unlimited. It is difficult for me to store and use this altered magic. We should avoid confrontation as much as possible.
Почему тебя так это интересует, Влад? Стрим до 5 часов.
What happened? How could he defeat the Council of Magi?
Nudin called us to Parista, under the guise of reinforcing the barrier against the perished land. Instead, he tricked us, took control of most of our powers and attacked us. I cut him down with my sword, but he rose again and impaled me with his staff. All I can remember after that is the sound of fighting, destruction, and cries of death.
How did you survive?
Jerun. Nudin had forgotten he was with me in Parista. He found me, tended to my wounds and brought me out of the city to safety until I could summon up enough power to heal myself.
And Lot Yonan?
When Jerun carried me away, he was frozen in stone, like a statue. To my knowledge, the spell cannot be reversed.
You nod slowly. You don't have the strength to say anything else right now.
Что-то мне подсказывает, что это заклинание в итоге мы обратим. Так. Вперед дальше.
What will you do now?
Leave this place. I'm not so foolish as to believe that I could restrain the perished land or nod on. Why should I stay here?
Foolish, no! But cowardly!
You're on your way to the kingdom of the Secondlings, right? Then I will accompany you and leave Girdlegard by the High Pass.
We'll need all the help we can get. Nodon will have a lot worse in store for us than just orcs.
The Maga nods in agreement. Then she looks pensively at your rucksack.
Your rucksack? Why did Nodon want it?
Стрим в записях стримов по листе на канале хранится. Все записи. Так что в любой момент можете зайти посмотреть туда. Но я их не открываю в публичный доступ, поскольку в будущем я уже их смонтирую и на канал выложу. Давайте скажем правду.
I was taking some objects to Goren, one of Lot Yonan's family. He was murdered at Greenglade by an elf. There were books lying next to his body which he was planning to send to Turga the Fair-Faced.
May I see them?
You nod, take the books out of your rucksack, and hand them to her. She goes through the letter and the books, one after another, without showing any sign of emotion. Finally, she closes the last of the books.
Is that all? They are only sagas and travelogues from the Outer Lands, which tell of legendary creatures and myths. I don't know why they should be of interest to Nod on.
There must be something in them that's important to him. He destroyed a whole village for them, and the vaults.
Possibly. I'll study the books. But let's sleep now. Jarun can keep watch. We are still being followed.
Такое чувство, что она скрывает что-то. Ну ладно, у нас новая спутница и новый спутник. Так, каким путем пойдем? Блин, а почему? А, вот, все. Давайте прямо пойдем. За нами орды орков, кстати, гонятся. Значит, надо двигаться вперед.
The path leads you through a ravine, whose steep walls are mainly made up of loose boulders and scree. You could probably cause a rockfall that would block your pursuer's path and obstruct your way back.
Давайте вызовем
It takes
обвал.
longer than you would have liked to trigger a rockfall that is big enough. But when the dust settles, you realize that you have been rewarded for your troubles. The path is blocked.
Короче, назад нам теперь нельзя.
In the afternoon, with the sun low in the sky, the path leads you through a ravine. A glance at your map suggests that you're near to Boribor, the Orc realm.
Fracas, may we remain unscathed.
About a mile further on, Boindil suddenly stops in his tracks and sniffs.
Can you smell that? Piggy snouts! And lots of them too!
Let's proceed with caution. Perhaps we can take a few of them out before they raise the alarm.
Так, что тут у нас? Нам надо тихонечко твари убить. А почему у него крестик? Типа только 4 можем взять с собой, ну бред. Так, ну ладно, поехали.
Understood. Huh?
As good as done!
Блин, почему я камеру не могу приближать, отближать?
Of course! Up there! We have to stop them before they can warn anyone.
Все, поехали, поехали.
Idea. Idea.
And what now?
And again.
And I didn't even take off my
О, вот это мощь.
No chance.
Тут еще какой-то гигант здоровый.
What is it next?
What a waste of time.
Будем пробовать все заклинания. Так,
Another one bites the
Суперлуч.
He cheated.
Что произошло только что? What the...
Understood.
Yes?
Not a bad idea.
Huh?
All
I'm
right,
with
then.
you.
Yes? At once. Huh?
On my way.
Up there! We have to stop them before they can warn anyone.
Bad idea.
Так, а как наверх забраться?
Attack! And what is it now?
Yes?
Yes?
Now you've got
what
me
is it?
interested.
I didn't hit you very hard.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Understood.
Так, парни, двигаемся.
What a waste of time.
Yes?
Ясно.
Not a bad idea.
What is it? Huh?
Просто в стенку уперлись.
As good as done. Yes? And what now?
Вот. Сейчас будет всех мочить.
What is it? What is it?
Да блин.
Another one bites the dust.
At once.
Больно.
No chance.
Come here, you. I'm with you.
Черт, а как ему отсюда выпрыгнуть?
Of course. Yes, yes. Of course.
А, кек.
Yes, yes. Of course.
Блин, саламатов. Я для кого говорю, что существует плейлист?
Not a bad idea.
Of course. I'm with you for you. Who's next? I didn't hit you very hard. Yeah.
End it.
What is it? He hardly put up a fight. Another one bites the dust. What is it? All right.
On my way.
Такое чувство, как будто на пофиг ударил.
Yes, yes.
And I didn't even take off my gloves.
Так, чё кликанул чат?
He hardly
Hey,
put
how
up a
about some
fight.
help?
What is it?
What a waste of time. If I have
Что
to.
такая дохлая, а?
What is it?
Understood. Pavrakas!
He hardly put up a fight.
End it. On my way.
Not a bad idea.
Of course.
Not a bad
Так,
idea.
пошли дальше, к выходу. Надеюсь.
Now you've got me interested.
Yes? At once. Understood.
Так, парни, бежим.
At once. Understood.
Of course.
What is it?
Understood.
Так, черт, здесь походу придется сражаться.
Another one bites the dust.
Now you've got me interested. What a waste of time.
Вау, ни хрена ее закинула.
On my way. Vile creature.
Not a bad idea.
Так, детка, детка, сюда.
Another one bites the dust. Is it pretty hard? Too easy.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй.
Yes. With pleasure.
If I have to.
Another one bites the dust.
This is
Too
going to
easy.
hurt.
Yes. End it.
What is it?
Блин, у нас еще катапультами кидается.
What is it? As good as done. Say goodbye forever.
Так,
What
неплохо.
is it?
I didn't hit you very hard.
Feel my power.
Uh-huh.
What a waste of time.
He hardly put up a fight. What is it?
Right then.
Так, неплохо.
Not a bad idea.
Away you go.
Дуем дальше. Так, вот нам очевидно туда надо спуститься.
Fire you. Luck for you. Of course.
Просто взяли и изрезали беднягу.
As good as done.
Так, пускай стреляет, мы бежим к выходу.
As good as done.
Детки, мы у выхода.
Away. We should go down into the caves and vaults. There'll be more of them down there.
Or maybe we should concentrate on finally getting to Ogre's Death stronghold, Boindil.
You ignore the offended look on your friend's face and set off, leaving the Orc Mountains behind you.
Жирдяй, который был на прошлом стриме, которого вы могли вполне себе не увидеть. Джирод ничего не делал и апнул левел. Как здорово. Так, новые способности. Хрю-хрю, свинки. Короче, такой таунт. А зачем мне это показывают-то? Если я качать ничего не могу, зато...
You have put out a plate of food for the night every evening since Jeroen and Andakai joined you on your journey, but still none of you have seen him eat. You decide to pay particular attention to him this evening, to try and find out what is under the helmet. Andakai is sitting not far from the giant, studying the books.
Have you found anything useful yet?
She looks up at you.
You think I will stay and fight if there is a spell in the books that might defeat Nodon?
Yours is the god of balance. Don't you see it as your duty to create a balance between light and dark?
Instead of answering, Andakai rubs her eyes and closes the books.
It's too dark to study. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Disgruntled, you watch the Mager as she walks over to her bed for the night. Your eyes fall upon Jeroen and the plate at his feet, on which not a crumb of food is left.
Все в костюм, короче, проглотил. Так, мы пойдем вот так. Орки заколебались сзади преследовать.
You can already see the oasis a day's journey away, but in the glimmer of the midday sun, you're not sure whether it might not just be a mirage. But the twins are convinced that there is a village here, and the prospect of a roof over your heads for the night keeps you going. The nearer you get to the oasis, the more the uneasy feeling grows that something's not right. It's too quiet, and you don't see any movement. Once you enter the village, your fears are confirmed. Your enemies have already been here.
Уже тут побывали. Какие они шустрые. Какие-то враги слишком шустрые. Куда бы мы ни пошли, уже все уничтожено. Ух ты, нифига себе он топает-то.
Where is everyone?
Hello? Anyone here?
You all jump. You look angrily at Boindil, who shrugs his shoulders in apology.
Здравствуйте, тут есть кто-нибудь? Опять трупаки.
This whole thing is probably a trap. We should...
Welcome to Pasna. I'm sure the citizens would greet you themselves, if they could.
You recognize the elf immediately. You saw him with the leaders of the orcs, and he appeared to you in a dream after Greenglade. Or no, not in a dream.
Sintheras.
So we meet again, Tungdil. What do you think of my work in the vaults? It was a nice start, wasn't it?
An eerie smile sets on Sintheras's lips.
Wonderful. I can see the hatred in your eyes. Come on. Come and get your revenge.
О, черт, провоцирует меня. Ну давайте-ка Джируна потестим, что он умеет. Убить Альва, что-то мне кажется, это не просто будет.
Too easy. And what now? Yes? As good as done. On my way. As good as done.
Так, Джирун, дуй сюда.
On my way. Huh? Huzzah! What is it?
Understood.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Черт, а.
At once.
And what now?
Они просто не дают хиляться.
Like little piggies. Too easy.
Kill.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Understood.
Нет, там где? Живи.
Another one. Hey.
At once.
Синтерас убит, ну и хрен с
Too
ним.
easy. I just need vile creatures.
Others will take my place.
Yes.
Все убиты, Кек. Это такая задумка.
Dust. As good as done. Say goodbye forever. Too easy. Pow! Another one bites the
А,
dust.
не убит Синтерас.
Say goodbye forever. As good as done.
Ты где тот гаденыш,
Что ж,
а?
начальник всегда прав.
On my way.
Темный дух картовый Абракадабрасус вторгается на стрим.
All right.
О, Абракадабрусус, сколько веки,
On
здрасте.
my way. Oh, what bad luck for you. All right. On my way. As good as done.
Тьфу ты, мы могли так обойти его, а я целую развилку тут делал.
All right. Say goodbye forever.
О, да. А, понял, да?
As good as
Черт,
done.
теперь от этой толпы надо избавиться. Пока он там
On my
валяется.
way. All right. Say goodbye forever. With pleasure. As good as done.
Так, куда убегаешь,
Say
трусила?
goodbye forever.
Иди сюда.
All right.
Ща тебя
On
мы
my way.
и забьем
As good
топорчиком.
as done. On my way. As good as done. All right.
Да как ты
Say
мог
goodbye
промазать?
forever. Retreat! Back! Why are you fighting against us?
You're the son of Samusin. You should have nothing to do with this unworthy scum.
Фи, трус. Так и знал.
I've had enough of fighting. It's about time we head to your home.
I've had enough too. But we've got several days in the desert ahead of us before we can enjoy a cold beer.
The longer we talk about it, the later we'll get to our beer. Let's go.
И в итоге взяли живы, никто не сдох, кек. Ну, нормас, ладно. Ладно. А, вы смотрите, у них просто хп мало. Так, 6-й левел. Так, дэмэдж, больше дэмэджа. Так, мы почти дошли. Все на месте. Вот, теперь на
You've
месте.
been traveling through the desert for days. The sand is simply everywhere. In your shoes, under your clothes, in your mouths. Even the makeshift cloths that you've wrapped around your heads is of little help. With the last of the energy you can muster, you finally leave the 40-mile-wide sandbar that separated you from Ogre's death. It is as if you've passed through an invisible wall when the raging wind and sand suddenly falls silent. In front of you, an enormous massive towers into the sky, the Blue Range. The slopes cast long shadows over Ogre's Death Fortress, which nestles in the spurs of the mountain. Even from this distance it looks impressive, with its 4 defensive terraces, one above the other. The anticipation of entering a real dwarven city for the first time grows with every step, and you feel the power returning to your limbs. You've
Ща,
almost
кажется,
done
там
it.
все же все сдохли. О, еще катсценка.
My High King, you have called me to succeed you to the throne. Here I stand before you.
Что за король, блин?
Well,
Капец, он себе косы
before
отрастил.
you are chosen as the successor to the High King, here, King Gandagar, are the challenges that await you. Hordes of orcs are rampaging through the north and the west, and the perished land is stirring. It would seem that the Magi cannot sustain the barriers.
This gives us an excellent opportunity to attack the last elves in Alandor. They are weakened. The perished land afflicts them. Let us wipe out the traitors once and for all.
Yes, right, exactly.
Hear, hear.
Madness. What are you talking about?
I do not recognize you, King Gandagar, in what you are saying.
Это
The
что
elves are
такое? Что за
inhabitants of
немецкий?
Ergelgard. Has your hatred for them clouded your senses to the point that you wish to ignore the words of our god?
Belendalin's gaze falls, as if incidentally, on the king of the Fourthlings' advisor.
Or is someone giving you bad advice?
Чего они самовотелись к
On the contrary,
локализации-то?
it was Bislipper who finally supplied me with the proof. A report titled How the Fiflings Lost the Gate. It was the elves
Эй,
that poisoned the
локализация,
brave
не
Fifling
слышал.
in their stronghold. A devious disease spread by the pointy ears in the shafts of the Grey Range.
Impossible!
I always knew it.
Treason!
I don't believe
They should
that.
pay for it!
Enough! Don't be so short-sighted!
Ишкольджань!
We are talking about the safety of Girdlegard. We must reach out and forge a large coalition with the elves. Yes, and even
Король
with the
психанул.
Thirdlings, if we are to defeat the perished land.
My High King, You cannot be serious.
Drivel from a dwarf who has grown too old in his post.
Обсирают
Are we
короля.
not here to choose a new High King? We have waited long enough.
Сейчас
It
его
would
еще
seem
изберет.
you will have to wait a little bit longer. The second aspirant.
Наследник! Чё? Ну, такие хотели
Our
сказать.
guests must be tired from their long journey. The meeting is adjourned till tomorrow.
Он наследник, охренеть. Я догадывался, что что-то такое. Иначе зачем его сюда звать? Ну блин, серьезно. Они чё, братья, что ли? Они похожи как-то. Привет, Вордлик Ван Рок. Чё-то немножко подлагивает игрулька. Ой, ну зато как кайфно тут выглядит.
But why do you think that I...
Everything will become clear. I've had a room prepared for you. Before you take to your bed, please pay the High King and I a visit in the throne room.
Что ж, начальник всегда прав.
Дратучий, Пашка, это тебе нупхе и прочие расходы. Может, Володе начинить сальшо шасфрок.
Че за БПщи? Не понял. Спасибо для вам, случай, за донат. Ребят, ну вы поняли, да? Я тут король, короче.
Ah, your highness.
Heir apparent? What do you know? Spit it out.
A slight expression of guilt flits briefly across Boindill's face, but he's soon back to his old self.
A scholar as I king has something to it. You'll certainly have our votes, that's for sure.
Boindall nods in agreement.
As High King, you could unite the kingdoms and get them to do battle against Nod-On.
You look at your friends and aren't really sure whether they are trying to pull your leg or not.
I can't be High King. I got all my knowledge from books and you're pulling my leg, right?
The twins' grins grow ever wider, and it would seem they can hardly contain themselves.
Just talk to High King Gundrabur and Belendalin. They will explain everything.
Сейчас скажут, ты наследник велик. Ты сын великого гнума, который обладал супер-пупер силой. Черт, да почему у меня FPS так падает, не пойму. Чего-то идет нагрузка на ЦП, но хрен его знает. Ладно.
High King Gundrabur seems, well,
Old? He is ancient, even by Dwarvish standards. He has been old for as long as I can remember.
Belendalin has taken care of most matters for dozens of cycles. But Gundrabur always has the final word. His mind is younger than all of ours, I tell ya.
Belendalin should become High King. I was there when a runt took his arm. He still managed to kill half a dozen of them afterwards. What fighting spirit! We had to drag him off the battlefield.
The law requires that a firstling or a fourthling must be chosen as the new king of all dwarves. And, as the firstlings didn't turn up...
For the first
Скоро еще
time
не
you have
скоро
the chance to
70 как-то.
appreciate the beauty of the place. You suddenly forget what you wanted to say.
I've never seen such masterful masonry. To be honest, I didn't even know that stone could be worked in such a way.
Ha ha ha! The secondlings are the best masons of all the kingdoms. That's how Vracus made us. Well, he made some of us into warriors too.
Boandal glances at his brother, and he laughs with satisfaction while looking around the hall himself.
Мертвые идут.
Don't get lost. And tonight
Вот
we will
смотрю
finally
стрим.
drink a
Да,
lovely
но
dark
тут
ale in
вторгается
the going
какой-то
anthem.
пидорас хуесос и вообще фозист и решил меня закромсать наковальнями. Ну так вот, это знамение?
Чего?
I think I first need to organize my thoughts before I can talk to them.
Как следует подумать. Так.
You can't see the bottom. When the secondlings named the Blue Range their home, there was nothing here but hard rock and a few small caves. Fantastic.
Потому что людям, ну, дерьмо только подавай. На палочке. Так, что, сюда нельзя мне, что ли? Слышите, пустите меня. Блин, они здесь оптимизацию, что ли, не провели? Так лагает жутко. Окей, пошли в чертоги. Варьер, 11 зрителей. Печально все.
Andikai, what is it?
I came to return these books to you, Tungdil. Luckily, I was able to make sense of most of it.
You observed how the Mager took time to study the books during your escape.
They are records from the Outer Lands. They tell of demonic beings from Barren Ground who can take possession of humans and invest them with great power.
Immortality, for example?
The Mager nods seriously.
They speak of an axe forged by the Undergrounders called Keenfire. It is said to have the power to cut through the flesh and bone of the living and completely destroy the demonic spirit deep within their soul.
Ну, только по 10-20 подписчиков в день как-то не true. Так.
So you think a demon from the Outer Lands has taken possession of Nudin?
He looked very different when I encountered him in Parista, and he rose from the dead even though you cut off his head. That can't be explained purely through the power of the perished land.
And he wanted to prevent these books from falling into our hands. That would only make sense if Keenfire had the power to defeat him.
Warrior просто в Warcraft играл. Тогда когда на Warcraft люди приходят более-менее так. Эх, остальное их не волнует, хотя вечно кричат про разнообразие контента, который не смотрят, конечно же.
Where is this Keenfire?
I don't know if this weapon was ever forged. It requires rare materials and masterful craftsmanship. The purest, hardest steel, stone barbs decorated with runes, a hilt of Sigurdaisy wood, inlays made of all the noble metals, the blades studded with diamonds, smithed in the hottest forge.
We are dwarves. We have the most talented craftsmen.
And you have the Sigurdaisy wood. It is amongst the objects in your rucksack, which is fortunate as there are no more Sigurdaisies in Girdlegard. But even if you manage to forge the axe, it might all be just a fairy tale. It's too little to wager our lives on.
Огонь жизни.
Do you know these Undergrounders?
I have never heard of the Undergrounders, but I've been to the Outer Lands before.
It must be terrible. The hordes of Tion have marched from there against our strongholds for thousands of years.
It's not as bad as you think. It is certainly safer than a land in which a magus possessed by a demon is on the loose.
We can get all the missing materials, as well as a gem cutter, here in the stronghold. After all, Gandagar and his fourthlings are here. A stonemason from the secondlings, and I can smith.
The Maga looks at you thoughtfully, and for a short time it seems as though your enthusiasm is rubbing off on her. But then she says,
I wish you good luck, Tungdil.
You still want to leave Girdlegard, but what will happen to your realm and all the other realms?
I admire your optimism, my friend, but it isn't wise to stand in the way of a rolling stone. I don't wish to give up my realm, but I would only be prolonging the suffering unnecessarily.
But
you don't want to let the last Maga in Girdlegard go. Unfortunately, you can't think of anything that could cause her to stay.
Many thanks, Honourable Maga, for all that you have done.
Всего-то. Ну ладно. Ну посмотрим, что там хавчик, грибы с сыром.
A variety of cheeses, pickled cave mushrooms, toasted vault moss, and some smoked sausage. Mmm.
The intense smell of the cheese makes your mouth begin to water.
Что-то вкусненькое.
You are exhausted from your adventurous journey, but it would be impolite to just go to bed if the High King is waiting for you.
Постелька топовая просто, на шкуре медведя спать.
Goren found an answer to the threat. Keenfire. No matter how difficult it is to forge it, we must do it. We don't know of anything else that could injure a demon.
Так, все что ли? Тут больше нечего.
You are exhausted from your... You are...
Ладно, уходим, сейчас опять будет лагать. Потому что там не сделали, не завезли оптимизацию в ту зону, видимо. Так, ребята, королю как пройти?
Ah, Tungdil, what is it?
Andikai deciphered what was written in the books that Goren wanted to send to Turga the Fairfaced. They tell of a demonic threat from the Outer Lands and how it can be stopped. Nudin cannot be killed by normal weapons, but Undergrounders have developed a weapon that might be able to do it. Keenfire.
Undergrounders? What's that supposed to mean?
You shrug your shoulders.
Maybe there are dwarves in the Outlands too. Either way, they have described how this magical weapon can be made.
If it's got anything to do with magic, the weapon cannot be dwarfish. We shouldn't go anywhere near it.
Конечно,
Nudin fears the books. I believe that Keenfire is our best chance of stopping him. I think I'll continue to look around.
Don't get lost. And tonight, we will finally drink a lovely dark ale in the glowing anvil.
Темный ель, светящийся, что-то там. Так, ладно, тронный зал. Король же там, надеюсь. Король, король. Привет, Тирион.
Tungdil, come closer.
The power that the old High King radiated when he called the assembly to order has drained away from him. His body is sunken in the throne, but his eyes are alert and interested as he looks at you.
The lost son returns to his people. Thank Vracus. Tell us what you learned on your journey.
You describe your adventure down to the smallest detail. Neither the king nor his advisor interrupts you. From time to time they nod, as though they were already aware of certain facts. Their brows become more furrowed with every passing minute. When you are finished with your story, you also have some questions.
I don't want to appear ungrateful, and I'm happy to finally be among my people, but I will not ascend the throne. I hardly know anything about our customs and laws. Everything that I know, I have learned from books that Lot Yonan gave me. There must be more suitable heirs than me.
Your renouncement honors you. But to be honest, you never had a claim. To stop Gandagar, we had to stall for time.
Lot Yonan helped us with our little story. We don't even know if you are a fourthling.
The king's advisor misinterprets your unbelieving gaze and quickly adds,
We're only being as deceitful as goblins for one solitary reason. To stave off possible harm to our people.
You feel as though you've been hit in the stomach. If this is true, not only have you lost your newly found kingdom, but Master Lot Yonan also didn't see it as necessary to inaugurate you in the conspiracy.
Ну зашибись, еще и пешечка.
Game is being played here.
Gandagar, as king of the fourthlings, is to supersede me as High King, but his mind is poisoned with hatred towards the elves. He would probably win a war against them, but he would weaken us, and Girdlegard would not be helped by this. I was hoping for a great coalition with the elves, and even with the thirdlings. I would have given anything to start the negotiations. In times of great need, only the common goal can count.
And which role have you planned for me?
Well, with you as a second aspirant, certain possibilities of protocol open up to us.
Your plan has a flaw. Even if I were to line up, I couldn't win. No one on the council will vote for me.
You don't have to win.
Belendalin points to the Steelies in the throne room.
It's written in our laws that the High King can oppose an heir if he isn't elected unanimously. He can then demand a duel or a contest in order to determine the winner.
Such a contest could take weeks, if not months, and it would win us some time.
Ну отлично, еще на верную смерть пойти. Круто.
Why is Gandagar so full of hatred towards the elves?
His father and brother were murdered by elves. At least that's what's claimed.
No one knows the truth, just as no one knows how true this report about the fifthlings is. But isn't it strange that this letter has turned up now, just when it can play into the hands of the elf haters? Many dwarves' hatred towards the elves is great, perhaps even greater than their honesty.
I understand why you want to prevent a High King Gandagar. He will be blind to our real problems.
Gandagar's only liability is that he lets Bislipper whisper dark thoughts in his ear. The advisor is the problem, not the king.
A problem that I am fortunate enough not to have.
The High King smiles weakly at his advisor.
Gandagar is a good dwarf and a good king, and I am certain he could also be a good High King if he was free of Bislipper's lies and false advice.
What kind of contest would you have us compete in? Gandagar is surely superior to me in many things.
Everyone in the council will write a task on a piece of paper, and from them, the contest will be drawn.
And this only once you have made a speech, and have won over as many as possible in the council to your side. The more sympathetic the council is towards you, the higher the chances of a contest that fits your abilities.
Speech? You're beginning to like this whole thing less and less.
Конечно, пешечка, пешечка.
Is this really the best for our people? If you cannot dissuade Gandagar from carrying out his plans, it could end in a fraternal war.
Don't worry. We'll open up his eyes and he will recognize the malice of his feigned friend. We just need time, and you must gain it for us.
Согласен ли я? Или не согласен? Не уверен, что мне это нравится.
I'm not sure. What if it goes wrong and we split the dwarves into two factions?
We won't let it get that far. But you, Tungdil, will have to help us.
We will support you with all our power. You will not take this road on your own.
All right then. If you believe in it, I will follow your plan.
No one acts more honorably than you, Tungdil.
Belendalin smiles at you encouragingly.
You say Andakai may have found a way to defeat Nodon. And she suspects that the Magus is possessed by a demon from the outer lands. It may be possible to kill this demon with an axe called Keenfire. I have commissioned armor that is worthy of a prince. It will be delivered to your chamber by sunrise.
You say goodbye with a queasy feeling in your stomach. You always thought that you were articulate, but the prospect of having to make a speech in front of the large council doesn't exactly fill you with elation. The High King's advisor has the build of a warrior. His eyes are like those of a bird of prey, and you can see a keen intellect behind them. Even for a dwarf, High King Gundrabur is very old. His long white beard suggests 500 or more cycles. He seems weak, but when you talk to him, you feel an aura of grandeur. You skim over the ornate runes and look for the passage that Gundrabur and Belendalin told you about.
If there is more than one candidate from a kingdom, and none can bring together all of the votes for themselves in a ballot, the High King can decide whether to declare the candidate with the most votes the winner, or to have the candidates compete in a contest to determine the victor.
Vrakas, who made the dwarves of stone, has himself been hewn from stone by these self-same dwarves. A masterly piece of work, like one of which only the masons of the secondlings can still accomplish today.
Ничего не видно, блин. Ну ладно. Привет, фигур-шоу. Так. Ну, очевидно, нам теперь пора спать. Слышите? Чё я не король, а?
Ah, Tungdil, what is it?
The High King and his advisor don't know where I come from either. But they only want to use me to delay Gandagar's coronation and ultimately prevent war with the elves.
Whatever happens, we will stand by your side, Scholar.
You're not sure whether the moral support of your friends will be much use in a contest with Gandagar, but it feels good not having to go through the whole thing on your own.
I think I'll continue to look around.
Don't get lost.
Так, куда же нам идти? Только в чертоги. Спать-то будешь? О, ся.
You are looking forward to the
Блин, рюкзак
first
не
proper
осмотрел.
bed for weeks.
Sigurdaisy wood. Very rare. I guess Lot Yonan wanted it to examine or experiment with.
Теперь давайте спать. Ух.
You are looking forward to the first proper bed. You undress and lie down. Before you know it, your eyes close and you fall asleep.
Так это еще одеяло, а не просто шкура.
When your new armor is brought to you the next morning, you can hardly believe your eyes. However, as a smith, You can't stand the fact that you haven't contributed anything to it, and decide to add some inlays.
Оба.
Even one who wears the armour of a prince can still be a farrier underneath it, don't you think, Tungdil Bolafar?
What are you doing in here?
Ignoring your question, Bisliper eyes you very exactly before he speaks.
So, you want to be one of our kingdom? A foundling brought up by a wizard? One wouldn't think it possible. And I don't think it possible either. There is no proof of your origin, and Gandagar's the council on his side. Why don't you spare yourself the disgrace and just not turn up in front of the council? Put your scheme to bed, and we will take you into our kingdom. We will give you everything you need your whole life long. In exchange, you support Gandagard instead of challenging him.
Proof? Oh, you mean like your letter that has been found after 1,000 cycles and makes the elves responsible for the fall of the Fiflings?
It is no secret that the elves are deceitful. And what could possibly be more suited to get one over on us than letting the perished land in and presenting us as the scapegoat?
The elves have been displaced by the perished land and are now almost eradicated.
I said they are deceitful, not wise.
Ох уж эта змейка.
Children of the Smith cannot be silenced.
You are a dwarf, I confess, but no fourthling can remember a dwarf child ever going missing.
And you know thousands of the fourthlings personally, and know exactly where they live in the mountains, what they're planning, or what small tragedies take place in their lives?
You have a sense that all the long evenings in the library and debating with Lot Yonan weren't for nothing, as Bisliper struggles for a reply, then lets it go.
And what if I don't withdraw my candidacy?
You wish to stand against your own king? A stray dwarf offending a deserving leader such as Gandagar through his claim? No one in the Brown Range will like that. Prepare yourself for life as an outsider among the fourthlings.
You have had enough of this dwarf. He makes you feel uneasy, or worse still.
Get out!
A humanized bastard will not issue me orders. Know your place, false dwarf.
Чертов урод.
Some of the gold has left a coin-sized mark on the back of your hand. It hurts, but you like the idea that a bit of the metal you love is now part of you. The armor has been made by a master. Over the chainmail is steel plate, alloyed with gold in many places, which certainly appeals to you. There are also several decorative elements made of stone to honor its origin in the kingdom of the best stonemasons. You had just finished setting the last inlay, the seal of Lot Yonan, who brought you up and is gone, when Bisliper interrupted you.
Not only is it worthy of a king and fits me like a glove, but it should also offer me additional protection in battle.
Ох ты, ни хрена себе. Теперь как король выгляжу. Так, ну что, время речей, время толкнуть речь, эпичную речь, мощную речь.
That is why I, too, lodge a claim to the throne and why I think I am the more capable heir.
Thank you
так
for your
просто, что ли?
speech, Tungdil Bolafar. The council may now ask questions.
Bislipper?
Nothing you say will convince anyone here. You didn't grow up amongst us, and no one knows if you really are a fourthling. I do not believe there has ever been a more unworthy heir to the throne of the High King. You are just wasting our time.
A new perspective is sure to be good for the dwarves. As an outsider, I will be a breath of fresh air and bring new ideas.
Might be true.
We don't need to be told this by some spring chicken.
We know ourselves what's best.
Fresh air? Close the window.
There's no reason to change anything.
Ой, всё.
Yes, the dwarf from the Second Link Kingdom over there.
You say that a war against the elves would be madness. But how can such a young dwarf as you judge that? You've hardly seen anything of the world, has he?
Так, третий сразу отпадает вариант. Ладно, первый
If we
тогда.
get drawn into a conflict against the elves, then we are no better than the Alfar who have fought with the elves for thousands of cycles.
He's right.
Well, of course we're better than the Alfar.
Outrageous.
Ну, вроде все более-менее здесь
Yes, your
прореагировали.
question?
Just so I get this right, you want to forge a weapon that is described in a book of fairy tales from the perished land
Книга
to
сказок.
kill a demon that none of us has ever seen?
I have most definitely seen it. Goimgar, Yellow Belly, Shimmerbeard.
Второе тоже глупо говорить. Третье может вернуть их в депрессию такую.
We have seen the perished land with our own eyes, and its master Nodon could not be killed. Many have died for the books in which it is written how Keenfire can be made. And the Magus did all he could to get his hands on the two halves made of Sigurd Daisy wood. Those are the facts, whether you like them or not. These problems won't solve themselves, so I ask you, is it the dwarven way to step aside and do nothing, or is it our way to act?
To act!
We don't hide away.
If the humans won't stop the perished land, then we will.
We shouldn't get drawn in. Let's show the Magus the strength of the dwarves.
I have heard enough. The council has heard the words of both candidates and must now make its decision. Those of you who wish to see Tungdil Bolafar, the returning son from the Fourthling Kingdom, as my successor, raise your axe. And those who wish to see Gandagar Silverbeard from the Silverbeards, the king of the Fourthlings, as my successor.
Чё-то за нас немного проголосовало.
Gandagar has received more votes.
Very good.
Чёрт.
Excellent.
Чёрт, мы всрали.
Gandagar! Long live our new High King!
However, the result was not unanimous, and as acting High King, I avail myself of my right to demand a contest between the aspirants.
What is this?
But he won the ballot.
That's the rules. The High King has the right to do so.
Respect! He is still the High King.
Silence!
You have heard the High King's command. Write down your challenge for the aspirants.
Ты про что, Варак?
Are you ready? The one that masters this task first will become the High King. It is an expedition. The trial is to lead a group to forge the axe Keenfire in the Grey Range, which can then be used to fight against the Magus Nod-On.
Вот, повезло.
An expedition into the perished land?
Ha ha! Brilliant! You can't be serious.
Ты, а чё тут при чём вообще?
That's what I call a worthy challenge, don't you think?
I call it luck, Scholar. Of all the challenges, Bislapur draws this one. Ha ha ha!
Yes. Luck.
But, my king, don't demand this of me. Why me, of all people?
You are one of my best gem cutters, and I promise to support him. It should be a fair contest. Or should I break my word just because of you?
But...
You will go, Goimgar Shimmerbeard. Do not put us to shame. Follow Tungdil's instructions. Go! And come back in good health.
And with that, our group is complete.
Who have you chosen as Mason?
Good day, gentlemen.
Bavragar? The old drunkard?
Old drunkard? He assured me he's the best stonemason here. The High King himself sent him.
Well, I said I was precisely the stonemason you need. I didn't exactly say I was sent by the High King.
You let yourself be tricked by a drunkard.
I don't want him with us.
Rest assured, Boindil, I too could imagine better company. But Tungdil gave me his word.
Yes, I gave you my word. And as long as you are capable of doing the stonework needed for Keenfire, you are welcome. Girdleguard is at stake here.
I wish you no ill fortune, Tungdil, but also no good fortune. The throne belongs to me, and through my victory, Vracus will show the clans.
Это кто?
The task is clear to the contenders. The first to forge Keenfire and bring it back here has proven his abilities and will be our new High King to lead us in battle against Nod-On.
It will take months to complete the task. The journey to the Fiflings alone is a long and dangerous business.
Dangerous, yes, but not necessarily long. Do you know the old tunnel system that connects the Dwarven kingdoms?
Tunnels are all well and good, but why should we get there so much quicker under the ground than over it?
A knowing smile plays on the mouth of the advisor.
Well...
Нет, нету таких чипсов. Слушай, что за расизм, а зачем тебе такие чипсы? Слушай, Аварак, ты от меня чё хочешь, а? Чё ты творишь? Какое-то задание на рандом.
Pretty impressive what our forefathers achieved here, isn't it?
The kingdoms all work together. If we do the same, nothing is impossible.
Hear, hear.
I still don't understand why you tricked me and why you were so set on coming with us.
I have been the master of stone for more than 200 sun cycles. My work is admired all over Girdleguard. There has never been a better secondling mason than me. But today, I don't want to be remembered as a drunkard with the chisel trembling in my hand, but as Bavragor Amethyst, undefeated master of stone who brought Keenfire to life. One last masterpiece.
I I hope you understand me asking, but there seems to be bad blood between you and Boindil.
It's nothing that will endanger our mission. We've just always hated each other.
There's more behind it than commonplace hatred.
Bavragor doesn't react. His gaze is directed towards events that took place a long time ago.
You really should rein in your drinking. We need you in good shape.
There are some who say I'm only the master of beer and not the master of stone anymore. But don't worry, I haven't forgotten. I can't forget, no matter how much I drink.
Гном Бухарик.
I wonder why we haven't seen any sign of Gandagar recently. Perhaps they took a wrong turn somewhere. I'm sure we'll reach the Fifthling Kingdom before them.
We're not on the way to the Fifthlings. We are on the way to the Firstlings. We're probably already under the land of the Custodian.
The Firstlings? Why?
The Firstlings have been the best smiths in Girdlegard since the Fifthlings were wiped out. Only they can alloy Tionium and Palladium, which are actually mutually repellent. Anyway, we could use all the help we can get in the battle against Nodon and...
Опа. Доигрались. Парни, и что произошло?
Goimgar!
It burns!
We won't get further this way, Scholar. What now?
It's all your fault, you imposter. I was nearly killed, and for what?
It is good that you are still alive. We need you for our mission.
So you can steal a throne that doesn't belong to you?
Hatred glints in the gem cutter's eyes, and for a moment, you think he's going to attack you with the courage of desperation.
I'm not interested in the title of High King. I am trying to save Girdlegard. Even if you don't believe anything else, you must believe this.
I don't have to believe anything. I am here against my will. My own thoughts are my only remaining right.
Enough! Gather up all the materials we can still save. If we manage to reach the Firstlings, we can get anything we're missing there. And it should be less than 200 miles to their stronghold.
Капец, а? Доигрались на этой вагонетке. Что подобное я предполагал.
After you have gathered together the materials, you begin to search for a way out. And after a sweaty climb, you reach a door adorned with runes. From here, you enter a large cave with a waterfall covering a sun-drenched opening. You walk through the waterfall one after another, and after the unintentional shower, you find yourselves in Wayan, near the enchanted realm of Oramira. You find yourselves on a plateau, and the river which falls as a waterfall here hides the entrance to the underground rail network. It then flows past a forest, behind which you can see a wall and tiled roofs. You check the map.
That must be Mithridatia. We'll go through the forest to the city and see if we can refresh our supplies and buy some ponies.
Так, не сильно далеко мы уехали. Ну ладно.
Boindil strikes up song during your hike. A short while later, Bavragor joins in. But rather than actually singing along, he tries to outdo Boindil with his own songs. When he finally strikes up a love song, Boindil becomes absolutely livid. You take the stonemason to one side and ask him if he's doing it on purpose.
Of course I'm doing it on purpose. I'm gonna make him suffer the whole journey.
Can't go on like this. We can't fight amongst ourselves and save Girdlegard.
You take a short break before you dare breach the roots of the problem.
It's to do with a woman, right?
Not in the way you might think. Smeralda was my sister. A young thing of only 40 cycles.
Ой, всё, не надо об этой истории, не хочу слышать.
She was almost as belligerent as Boindle, and she got it into her blockhead to stand by him in battle. A bad decision.
You can see the pain he is suffering in his eyes. You place a hand on his shoulder and put him under no pressure to carry on.
Так,
The constant bickering between Boindle and Bavragor distracts you. Goimgar hears the clanking of armor first.
Something's coming!
Before you know it, the orcs are charging towards you over a hillside.
Ой, все, опять урки. Так, ну этого уродца брать в бой не будем. Будем драться вот так вот. Окей, поехали.
He hardly put up a... What is it? Of course.
Pow! Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, winner!
And again. Too easy.
Now!
Kill. Huh?
Так, что-то жесть, какие они жирные.
Another one bites the dust.
Каша.
Yes.
Yeah. Too easy.
I am going.
Yes.
Give me a hand.
Vile creature.
What is it?
Прыгай же ты куда-нибудь, а?
Give me a hand.
Kill. Vile creature.
Ow! Hey! For
And again. They're all here. Another one bites the dust.
He hardly put up a fight. Too much for you,
Так, Воврагор, ты... Чёрта с два, какого чёрта ты сдох, а? Ладненько, дубль 2.
Uh-huh.
Of course.
Out of my way. That's what was done.
And
Here, you forever. That's what was done. Out of my way.
What is it? Of course.
Yes.
Так, идем, ребятки.
All right. On my way. Huh? As good as done.
And what now?
And again.
Что-то я себя немного в тупик завел или не завел. О,
Yes. You're very hard.
Now.
Huh?
Who's next?
And again. Too easy.
He won't last long.
I didn't hit you very hard.
Yes.
Huh?
Pow! Another one
little
bites the
piggies.
dust.
Why not?
так, ребятки, идем отсюда.
He hardly put up a fight.
Yes. Understood.
Another one bites the dust. And again. As good as done. On my way.
Да хрен ли вы не выделяетесь. Так, обходим его. Так, все туда, ребятки. Черт. Слишком много врагов. А это что такое?
Prepare yourself. Taste my hammer.
Huh?
Yeah! What is it? Oink, oink, little piggies!
On my way! As good as done!
What's up? Why not? We hardly put up a fight.
Так, почти убили. Блин.
Understood.
Yeah! Who's next?
Все. Изи.
That was refreshing. Hey, here comes some more. 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6.
5 or 6? Oh, phew.
He means 5 or 600.
Goimgar turns white as a sheet.
That's too many. To the city. Come on.
Драчуны. Ух ты, сколько голды, а?
You flee towards Mifadania, with Goimgar out ahead. The orcs at his back seem to have mobilized unimagined powers in him, and he reaches the gate first, hammering manically against it. He says something and scurries through a small gateway that has been opened to him. Moments later, you also reach the gate.
Get in, quickly!
You push your way through the gate as the first orc arrows slam into the wood next to you.
Опять с урками драться будем, что ли? О, Артас пришел, брат Утера. Так, что нас в город где-то ждет? Хавчик-то будет.
The other dwarf said we should bolt the gate behind him, but we could use all the help we can get when the orcs come.
That treacherous sissy, where is he?
Boendal and I will look for him. Boindeel and Bavragor, help the city guards in any way you can.
You were certain the two of them wouldn't be much help in the search for Goimgar.
The fabulous Rodario.
Cometh, dear spectators, cometh and see! Let the Theatre Curiosum, with its star actor, the fabulous Rodario, the mysterious Nomora, and the genius Magister Technicus, Fergas, carry you off to another world. Now see and hear, dear spectators, the truth about Nudin the Knowledge Lusty, who disposed of the other Magi in a most horrifying way and plunged Girdlegard into disaster.
Girdlegard, it will be mine.
Чё? What the fuck?
When you murdered Frala and the others.
To your horror, you realize that you can no longer talk. You feel a lump in your throat, and your eyes begin to burn, as images of the vaults and Synthoras appear in front of you.
I see that my first strike really hit you, Groundling. Oh, how they screamed. If only you had been there to help them.
What do you want with my rucksack? If you're looking for provisions, you could have just asked me nicely.
I'm not interested in what's in the rucksack. I only know that the Lord of the Perished Land wants it. So he will have it.
Your master doesn't tell you much by the sounds of it. Either he doesn't trust you,
Or he's in the habit of not talking about his business with servants.
You feel the blade cutting into your skin, and you take it as a sign of a small victory.
This way!
Was that an elf?
If we're quick, we'll get that long ear yet!
Alarm! Alarm! The orcs are attacking!
Come, we must defend the walls.
А как же рюкзак? Видимо, хрен с ним, да?
On my way.
What is it?
On my way!
Ух ты, что-то элитная, походу, нас ждет, а? Не взберетесь, гады!
Kill. Yes. And what now? Come here, you. And again.
Отлично, все лестницы уничтожены легко и быстро.
Very good. We're able to stop them.
Зачем он в него стрельнул, арбалетчик тот?
Simple as. You wish it weren't so. But it is clear to you now that the city can no longer be saved.
To the side gate. It's our only chance. Huh? At once. On my way. Understood.
Huh? Huzzah! On my way!
Пацаны, что вы тут делаете, а?
On my way!
Yes? On my way. At once.
Taste my hammer! Yes, now!
Погнали отсюда, да побыстрее!
We're not. Let's go. Of course.
Yes, way!
We're not. Of course.
Let's go! On my way!
Знать бы, где еще эти ворота, а? А какого черта там стоишь, Буэндал? Иди к своей компании.
On my way! As good as done!
And what now?
On my way!
What is it? We're not.
Гоним сюда. Где эти чертовы малые ворота? А, во. Прорываемся. Эй, все же на месте. Пацаны, куда вы? О.
It's locked. We have to open it somehow.
Опять немецкий.
Step aside.
Are you thieves?
Certainly not. We are artists. People with extraordinary talents. Say, friends, as you clearly mean to leave Mifadania too, would you have anything against us joining you?
Тут орки стоят, если что. Но мы такие, ладно, поболтаем. На Медива похоже, с молодого, с того арта вечеринки в Каражане.
The fabulous Rodario. Oh, an admirer of my skills? Who would have thought it? I am indeed the one and only fabulous Rodario. This worthy gentleman here is Fergus, the best Magister Technicus since human thought. And last but not least, the enchanting Namora, whose beauty makes the mayor's roses wither in envy. Perhaps we should discuss the rest when we are out of this mess.
Наконец-то догадался.
We have a long and dangerous journey ahead of us. I don't think you really want to join us.
An epic and dangerous journey? That sounds like an adventure. And anyway, I have already seen that you know how to handle those weapons of yours. In these dangerous times, a big travel group offers the best protection, don't you think? I don't know,
The orcs are still surging through the gate and over the wall.
Блин,
You decide that this isn't the right time for discussions.
All right then, let's go.
Let's get out of here. We'll be safe with the firstlings.
The firstlings. The splendor of their halls is said to be unrivaled. And I have heard they have fascinating contraptions, Fergus, that are almost reminiscent of magic.
It's open, let's go.
Наконец-то. Наконец-то. А то эти орки, наверное, уже устали такие сказать, блин, когда дадут напасть уже, а? Мы тут стоим, мычим. Черт, 8 героев, это сколько жрачки-то надо, а? На всех не хватит. Оу, далеко нам топать.
In the evening, after your escape from Mifadania, you recover from your exertions around a campfire. Goimgar withdraws to a solitary corner. Bavragor devotes himself to his alcohol, and the twins get their smelly dwarf cheese out. Nemora and Fergus exchange hugs and kisses on the other side of the fire, while Rodario sits next to you.
Ah, a journey with real dwarves to the stronghold of the firstlings. I'm sure I can write that into my
Везде
new
эту
piece.
тему задевает, а?
We're far enough away from Mifadania. Perhaps we should part ways tomorrow morning.
Rodario jumps up and begins to gesticulate ostentatiously.
I think you have underestimated us. Let me introduce myself and my colleagues once more. I am the fabulous...
We don't have time to look after a pack of jesters.
Rodario seems offended for a moment, but then he grins, turns away from the group, and raises his right arm. A jet of flame shoots out of his sleeve.
Yeah,
The dwarves
игра
are startled
крашнулась.
and amazed by the brief
Но
spectacle.
работает.
And what do you say now, critical Mr. Dwarf?
You're a magus. I don't particularly like them either.
At the Curiosum, magic is my area of responsibility. There is a tube under his arm with a flint and a bag full of Lycopediella seeds. When he firmly presses the bag, the flint sprays sparks and the seeds shoot out. And there you have it. Magic fire.
Masterly work, Fergus.
The Magister Technica shows his appreciation with a nod of his head.
If they all have tricks like this up their sleeves, well, they might not be such a burden after all.
Приветствую,
Tungle.
пульсар.
How are you doing for provisions? We don't have enough.
We are happy to share what we have. It isn't very much, though. We had to leave most of it behind.
Food is sure to be a problem on our journey. Winter's only just beginning to leave Wayan, and people will be keeping a tight grip on the stocks they do have because of the orc attacks.
We have to be frugal and organize as much food as we can. It wouldn't be much of a heroic story if we starved on the way to the firstlings.
I must congratulate you on your skills. Find it hard to believe that it's not achieved by magic.
Aha, thank you, but I assure you it has nothing to do with magic. Just alchemy and accomplished acting. We leave the sorcery to the Magi.
Don't mention them. There's no love lost on Andakai and her walking iron tower.
You've met Andakai the Tempestuous? That is unbelievable. How was she?
She ran away to the Outer Lands. A damn disgrace.
Adakai had her reasons to leave us. She had already fought against Nodon and was unsuccessful. Furthermore, we wouldn't be here without her, and she told us about Keenfire.
Andakai, the bringer of hope. I like that. I'll have to use that in my new piece.
True to his words, Rodario takes out his notebook and writes something down.
Do you know anything about the firstlings? If I recall the map correctly, we need to cross the first large mountains in the Red Range and then pass through Snowdale to East Ironhald Stronghold.
No one has seen the firstlings for hundreds of cycles, but there are many stories about them. Their craftsmanship is much vaunted, and there used to be trade via a narrow path that led into the mountains. But I don't think there is a man living now who has ever walked that road.
Our mission is to forge the legendary axe Keenfire and destroy the traitor Nod-On. If you wish to accompany us through hunger, coldness, and danger, then do so. It's your decision.
How could we not partake in such a story? Just think, what a wonderful play we could make of it.
If we survive. I was hoping to only resurface once we reach the Red Range. Instead, we have a long journey and a dangerous climb ahead of us.
There may be another way apart from the old trading route. A few years ago, an old man from the north told me of a place called Wackenstein. Apparently, there is an old path there, older than the dwarven tunnels themselves.
Legends and stories. There's too much uncertainty. Let's just see what the next few days bring.
Так. Черт, игра вылетела. Ну вообще кул. Кул вылетела. Круто. Круто. До сих пор не завезли в эту игру антибаги. Но зато автосейв штука рабочая, это хорошо. Сейчас быстренько дойдем туда, где мы, в общем-то, остановились. Так, все, друзья, на этом я сегодняшний стрим заканчиваю. Спасибо всем, кто пришел. С вами был Павел Первый. Ну и увидимся на следующих стримах. Всем пока.